When it comes to going to the gym, eating healthier, and working out, in terms of the benefits that it brings to our life, we usually think about things like skinnier bodies or bigger muscles or healthier lifestyles as a whole. But what we don't often think about is how fitness actually benefits other areas of our life itself. So in this video here today, I want to share with you 3 unexpected ways that fitness actually transformed my business and my life, and how fitness helped me build a multiple 6-figure business in less than 2 years' time. All right, so in diving straight into today's video, I'm going to be sharing a real raw story of my history and really the steps I took into getting to where I am now as a multiple 6-figure business owner. Now, the funny thing is, it definitely wasn't always this way. I went through a lot of patches of struggle in my life early on. And in particular, fitness was one of those things that really helped me get out of that point in my life itself. And there's 3 things that it really did for me ultimately above anything else that had a massive impact on my online business growth. All right, so getting right into today's video, I want to start by sharing a little backstory before sharing with you the 3 ways that fitness transformed my business and my life for the better. And it all started back when I was a freshman in college over 7 years ago. And during that freshman year of college, I was really kind of spiraling down a negative path and ended up kind of getting to the point where I was starting to feel lost with life. I lost a loved one that was very important to me. I was getting into some trouble. I was getting into drugs and activities that I shouldn't have been doing to try to cover up the feelings that I was feeling in my life for that loss and for other events that was going on. And to ice the cake, I actually fractured my wrist playing basketball over spring break, where it was basically completely split. And we won't get too into the graphic details with it, but I didn't know if I'd ever actually be able to even write again. And it was super, super scary. I didn't know what was going to happen from that point. My dream was always to grow and build a successful online business. And as I was getting more and more lost within that freshman year of college, things weren't going my way. I was feeling very negative with all things in life. It felt like I didn't know what direction I was headed. I didn't know what was going to come. I knew I wanted to build an online business, but I knew that with everything going on, there's no way in hell I could do it right now, especially not with the fact that I knew that my mind wasn't right, because I was down on myself. I was disappointed with myself, and that hurts. And I knew it was time to make a change at that point. So after going through those experiences, after fracturing my wrist, after getting surgery to repair that wrist, after doing rehab for 6 months, and finally getting back to the point where I was able to start surprisingly being able to write again and being able to actually do some normal things again, as soon as I was able to start getting back into the gym and get back to full health, the first thing that I focused on before getting back into my online business or the pursuit of trying to figure out what that was all about was my body and my fitness and my health. I set a 90-day fitness goal and truly went all in, stopped at nothing to achieve it. Every single day was religious with what I ate, tracking my foods, showing up to the gym. And as a result of that, a few things came from it itself. By the end of the 90 days, I completely transformed my body. I went from being over 210 pounds to being under 185 pounds and starting to actually get that 6-pack abs that I always wanted at that time. Since that time, here we are now, 8 years later, I've still been able to maintain that body through one key thing that fitness taught me, and that is consistency. And that rippled into all areas of my business and of my life as a whole. But it all started with that first 90-day fitness goal. I went into that 90-day fitness goal with the mindset of, I am going to stop at nothing to achieve this. I'm going to religiously be consistent every single day to bring this goal to life. And if I don't, I'm going to readjust after those 90 days and proceed on to make it happen. 90 days in, I made it happen. And the cool part is, throughout that 90-day experience, it was super tough in the beginning. The first month sucked. I hated it. And it was hard to show up every single day. It was super hard to religiously track my food and monitor my calorie intake, monitor the foods that I was eating, especially being in college, being exposed to all the other foods and different things out there at the time. But I made that commitment to myself, and I had to follow through with it to bring that goal to life. And when I did, it taught me something that I will never forget. It taught me the power of consistency. And although I thought I used to know the power of that itself, I really didn't know it, because what I was doing and the actions that I was taking in my life at that time were the opposite of consistent. And what fitness did was bring me back into light to see the true power of consistency and see what can happen when you do small daily actions every single day to progress towards a 90-day goal or 120, whatever the goal is itself. The point is these small, simple daily actions and doing them consistently was what allowed me to create 1% growth and 1% improvement within my body, and ultimately 90 days later transform my body. And it showed me the power of showing up every single day and following through with your commitments itself. This same exact trait rippled into my online business. So when I started to pursue this online business dream and goal of mine, at first I didn't really know what direction to take. So it was hard to be consistent. I didn't really know what I was doing, when to do it, how to do it. So I had to do some learning. I had to do some skill building. But being consistent in that skill building, as I started to actually find my path and know exactly what I needed to do and when I needed to do it to get my online business off the ground and get it moving, I showed up and went all into it with the lens of pure consistency, knowing that, hey, I'm doing this not just for the short term, not just to make a quick buck and fall off the face of the earth and go do something else. I'm doing this for the long term. And if I'm trying to build a sustainable online business, the only way possible for me to do it is to do it through consistency. Because if I don't, then there's no way I'm ever going to be able to bring that goal to life itself. And unfortunately, many people, when they're trying to start an online business, they lack this. And even when they're so close to hitting their tipping point, so close to being able to actually start to see the feedback loop of what they're doing come to life, they stop and they jump to something else because they weren't consistent enough. And this is the problem. As we're starting to pursue whatever goal that we're pursuing, whether it's business, fitness, life, whatever it may be, we have to know and remind ourselves that in order to do this, especially if we're in the beginning stages, we have to be religiously consistent. Because simply by us showing up and focusing on becoming 1% better each and every day, it's the difference between us getting to where we want to go a year from now and being in the same spot of where we were at originally a year from now itself. If you consistently and religiously stick to the plan that you have for showing up every single day to become 1% better, you will eventually win. It may not be as fast as you want, but the point is you will start to see what you want to make happen come to life if you're consistent enough in what you do. Way number 2 that fitness transformed my business and my life was on the flip side of consistency, which was intensity. So when it comes to consistency, this is committing to something for the long term. I knew going into that fitness goal that if I didn't hit it in 90 days, there was no me just stopping and saying, okay, I'm done now, we're done, we're giving up. I knew that I was going to have to be willing to consistently show up beyond those 90 days, a year out, 2 years out. Here we are now, over 7 years out, and I'm still consistently showing up, improving my body, improving my health and fitness every single day because it's super important to me and it makes me be a higher performer in my business and in my life as a whole. But along with that consistency also bred intensity. And this to me is the second most important piece to turning your side hustle to a 6-figure online business or really creating growth within your online business and growth within anything for that matter in the early stages itself. Because consistency is what gets us there in the long term, but intensity is what gets us there in the short term. So if we can breed those two together, we can move mountains, literally. We truly can. And that's the power of it. We can take consistency, knowing that we're committing to this for the long term, and then add into the mix intensity, showing up to the gym every single day, being present just at that one day in time, being focused with what I'm doing within that workout, being focused with what I'm doing within that rep and within that set, and doing it with intensity. That's the difference between me having a super, super effective workout versus a workout that was just, I showed up to the gym. Because I could easily just show up and go through the motions and not be super intense with what I'm doing, but still be consistent with it. But if I compare intensity and consistency together, everything changes. And I didn't see this at first when I was pursuing that goal. It actually came through me focusing on one day at a time and just showing up, being intense with what I was doing, and in reflecting on my growth and my transformation, I realized that intensity was a key piece to making this happen. And I actually transferred that into my online business journey as well. But to me, the most important thing with intensity is we have to know what we are trying to be intense with. We have to know the actions that we are taking and how we can actually be intense with those. Because early on when I was trying to pursue this goal of growing an online business, I knew that I would need to consistently learn and consistently show up to get to that point, but I didn't really know what I needed to be intense with at that time. I didn't really know what actions needed to be taken each and every day to bring my goal to life. But But as I started to gain clarity on exactly what actions I needed to take, and I committed to showing up to do those not just in the short term, but in the long term, and I paired intensity with that, where I'm not trying to do 3 things at once, like I was early on when I was just trying to grow my online business. I wasn't jumping around from one thing to the next. I was being deliberately focused and intense with the one thing that I was doing at that point in the day and giving it my all, while also knowing that I'm in this for the long term and I'm going to be consistent with it. And pairing these two together was a massive game changer for my business and my growth, especially, like I mentioned, as soon as I started to have clarity on what actions I needed to take. This is what allowed me to go from struggling to get my online business off the ground for 4 years, 5 years time, to then 4 to 5 years later being able to go into having that clarity, deploying this consistency and intensity, and being able to take my business from 0 to 6 figures in less than 12 months' time. Intensity was key in that, and I would have never learned it if it weren't for fitness itself. And way number 3 that fitness transformed my business and my life was confidence. Through that consistent action, through that intense focus and action, through the transformation that came from me showing up daily with both of those traits, came confidence. It came me seeing the power of what can happen when you show up with those 2 things each and every day in your life. And the transformation that comes from that when we aren't just focused on trying to get there overnight, but instead setting a goal, showing up and committing to those consistent intense actions to become 1% better every single day. As that 90-day fitness goal came to life and I transformed my body, it bred confidence. It made me see, man, not only do I feel better in my skin, but I just showed up and proved myself that I can follow through with my own commitments to myself. And that was the biggest difference for me. Because prior to this, the commitments that I was making to myself, like I mentioned early on in that first year of college, I wasn't showing up and actually committing to those things. I wasn't proving to myself that I was following through. But when I set that 90-day fitness goal and I followed through with it, it showed me the power of what can happen when you do that, and it bred confidence as a result of it. Now, this confidence created a ripple effect into all areas of my life, especially my business. Because what many of you may not know is, even rewinding back to years before this in my life, I remember my first high school speech class, I froze up. I used to shake in front of the room because I was so nervous to talk in front of people. And I was lacking confidence at the time. I wanted to just be alone, be by myself, and not expose myself to others. But here I am now with a YouTube channel with over 1,000 subscribers, expressing myself freely and authentically because now I have that confidence. I found my voice and I enjoy doing it. And life is so much better on this side. But it wouldn't have came if it weren't for my fitness transformation. Now that confidence rippled into my business because it reminded me every single day the fact that I know without a doubt that I'm going to figure this online business thing out. Even when I was at 0, and a year later still being at 0, and a year later still being at 0, I was still confident in the fact that I would eventually figure this out. Fast forward 6 years after that, I went into that year where I started to just actually achieve some growth, and I went from 0 to 6 figures. During that year, that all came from initially having clarity on what to take action on, showing up with consistency and intensity, and to ice the cake, showing up with confidence. Confidence in what I was doing, belief in myself, knowing that I am going to make this work. And now that I'm actually have the funds to make investments in my business and learn from others who have done what I want to do, I know without a doubt that I'm putting myself in a position to win, and I'm confident in the fact that I will make that happen. And to me, this is a piece that's also really missing amongst many within the online business space, especially those that are just pursuing this goal of trying to build a successful online business. Because they don't know what to do, when to do it, or how to do it, and because they're unsure on if that goal will actually ever come to life, they feel like, man, how can I be confident in this if I don't even know what's going to come? But when we can harness that confidence and belief within us, we know without a doubt, especially paired with consistency and intensity, that that goal will come to life. It's just a matter of time. And we can use that to create a ripple into all the activities that we're doing within our business. Our sales conversations, calls, client calls, whatever it may be. Confidence is the key to showing up at a high level and actually expressing belief and confidence in what you do and what you offer and the direction that you're headed. And that's a very powerful thing that many people see when someone is able to possess that. It can't just be made up or faked. You have to breed that confidence within yourself. For me, fitness bred that confidence. So as we wrap up this video here today, this is a little bit of a different style video, as I don't normally talk about fitness as it comes to business, being that I'm an online business coach. But those that follow me on Facebook, you see that I post stories of me in the gym almost every single day because I'm showing that I'm following through with that commitment to myself. And I want you guys that are fans of me on Facebook, or even here now on YouTube, to see the power of this and to show up and join me. Because it will transform your life too if you let it and if you commit to it and show up for yourself. Now, for those of you that enjoyed this topic, enjoyed me talking about this and how fitness really transferred into my business and transformed my business as a whole, let me know in the comments below. I'm considering making more videos on my morning routine, my evening routine, and different high performance habits that I have instilled into my life that's allowed me to be able to grow my business from 0 to multiple 6 figures in less than 2 years' time. Love talking about this stuff. I'd love to bring you guys some more value on it, and I'd love to hear if it's something that you'd want to hear more about. So again, thanks for those that were watching. Thanks for those that joined in that are new here. And if you are new here and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button before you head out and keep an eye out for future videos releasing from me here every single week. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all back on next week's video.